Hello and welcome to another episode of Stories Behind the Songs. This episode we're going to talk about the song For Your Glory. So For Your Glory was actually written while we were in the hospital with my daughter, firstborn daughter. She had open heart surgery when she was 16 days old. When she was born, we had her for about 36 hours before the doctors told us that God had designed her heart differently. She had two main arteries coming out of the heart like everybody does, and hers were switched. It's called transposition of the great vessels. So the oxygenated blood was going through her heart, pumping back into her lungs and getting reoxygenated, while the rest of her body was basically getting unoxygenated blood. But God did some really cool things all throughout our time at the hospital, and actually when she was born, she had a huge hole in the top of her heart, and there's actually another small connecting valve between the two vessels called the PDA that stays open for a couple of days after the child's born, and that actually allowed Ivy to stay alive until we could find out kind of what was wrong. And while we were in the hospital, it was 16 days before she had the open heart surgery, and 8 days after her surgery we were home. It was absolutely a miracle. And while we were sitting there after her surgery, we were just watching all these tubes and wires and plugs and everything that were supposed to stay on and we didn't know how long, but for a while, until she was getting better, just literally coming off of her because of how well she was recovering. In fact, the doctor who was overseeing her, or the surgeon, didn't want to move her out of the step-down unit, or the CVICU to the step-down unit, because she was doing so well so quickly. And as I was watching my daughter just continually get better every single hour, it seemed like, that's when I sat down and wrote For Your Glory. My wife and I had felt so tested and tried, and I remember the first thing, as soon as we heard about what had happened, that basically the pediatrician that was assigned to us came in and said, "Hey, this is what's wrong with your daughter. I'll go figure out more and I'll come back." And I remember turning to my wife, and as tears started streaming down her face, just saying, "You know what? This is for God's glory. And no matter what He decides to do, it's going to be for Him. So let's pray that He is going to be the center and the focal point of everything that happens, whether we keep her or not. Let's make sure that this is about God and who He is." And that's where the song came from. No matter what trial you're facing, no matter what you're going through, God is jealous for His glory, and He gives us the opportunity to be able to share that with others. And I can't tell you how many conversations we've had at the hospital and have had since, to encourage people to look to the Creator, the one who created her heart, the one who allowed her heart to be made in such a way so that we could even be having this conversation. It's just been an amazing journey, and this song is really the crux of our heartbeat during the entire time when we were at the hospital with Ivy, and even now, that we want everything, no matter what we do, whether we eat or drink, no matter whatever we do, that it all be to the glory of God. So thanks so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe. I will be sharing some more of these as we've got other songs that come out, and would love to share more stories behind the songs with you down the road. Thanks.
See God's grace every moment.